This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
Well, here's a fun twist on the Delphi case for you. For the first time since 2017, Delphi murders, the state of Indiana has released crime scene photos. State has released them now, shedding new light on the evidence used to convict Richard Allen in the deaths of 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German. Spoiler alert, the photos really don't do anything for anybody. They don't really point in any direction. It's just like, and the photos included in a legal response by Carroll County Prosecutor Nicholas McLeland show different angles of Libby German's cell phone before it was collected as evidence. The same phone recorded the infamous Bridge Guy video, which played a crucial role in the case. Prosecutors argue the images reinforce their claim that environmental factors such as water or dirt could have impacted the phone's functionality. Yeah, okay. However, Allen's defense team disputes this, insisting the phone was manually active even after it had reportedly stopped moving. I think that's a dumb defense on the part of Richard Allen. I just do.
Yeah.
I don't think that goes anywhere. I don't think it proves anything. I think it's a stupid argument to make when you got a ton of other things you can make points on. The phone doesn't fucking mean anything. It got water in it. It fucked up. And if someone did move it, well, what do you have? What other than that do you have? Because it seems like a pretty logical argument here of the water in the phone.
Feels like it, doesn't it?
It doesn't take away the fact that there's other people that had been investigated by the FBI. The FBI even saying, we think this other guy is your guy. And then all that evidence being ignored by Delphi investigators. That doesn't change any of that, but be careful where you're hanging your hat. I'm really starting to question his attorneys. I know they're sticking with him and they're doing it pro bono, but I'm like, I don't know. Allen is 52. He father of two, husband. No criminal history at all. Convicted in November and sentenced to 130 years in prison for the killings. His attorneys have since filed a motion to correct errors. This is step one in the legal process that will take probably forever to hopefully get to appeals and to get a retrial, arguing that multiple issues, including forensic concerns, Allen's treatment while in custody, alleged false evidence, and an alleged confession from another man warrant a new trial, or just the overturning of the conviction. Defense attorney claims safekeeping order was illegal. Which, yeah, I agree. He should not have been in solitary confinement. And there was no attorneys even notified that he was going to solitary confinement in a prison.
Who decided that for him?
They did it in the middle of the night. I think it might, I don't know if it was Gull, but it was something to do with, it might have been Gull. I don't know. Somebody signed off on this thing, but you're supposed to notify the attorneys. It's one of those things where you're supposed to do things. Maybe it's not technically law, but like this is best practices. This is how we function as a society. And I guess if we need to legislate more of that, maybe we do. But some of it actually is illegal. So yeah, there's that. Allen's lawyers have long argued that his pretrial detention at the Westville Correctional Facility, where he spent significant time, impacted his mental health and ultimately influenced the trial's outcome. They described the safekeeping order that placed him in the facility as plainly illegal from start to finish. In response, McLeland dismissed these concerns, stating, "The motion for safekeeping does not touch on matters of guilt or impact the ability to have a fair trial. It's a mechanism for housing the defendant in a penal facility pending trial that will keep him and others safe, or make him go completely crazy and start eating his own feces, running into a wall, and making false confessions." It could do that too. Surveillance footage and allegations of false evidence is another key part to this. The defense has also pointed to newly surfaced surveillance footage from near the crime scene that they claim contradicts the prosecution's timeline of events. It does. According to Allen's attorneys, jurors were presented with false evidence during the trial. They were. McLeland, however, has pushed back, stating that the video is unverified by legitimate means. That's a weird statement. Unverified by legitimate means. I don't know what the fuck that even means. And lacks an Indiana State Police identification number. Okay, well that makes a little more sense. As a result, he argues it's an improper submission for consideration by the court. Okay. Alleged in 2017, there was that confession, like I was just talking about. The argument in the defense's motion revolves around an alleged confession by Ron Logan, the other third-party suspect. And we've done a lot on Ron Logan, in case you want to go back in the archive and really get a full picture of how insane this case is. The late owner of the property, where Abby and Libby were found. According to Indiana State Police records from 2017, Logan allegedly gave a detailed account of how he killed the girls. Allen's attorneys argue that excluding Logan as a third-party suspect was a critical mistake by the court. However, McLeland downplayed the confession, stating that the person who reported it to the police failed the polygraph miserably and that many of those details are directly contradicted by the evidence. Okay, take the fucking confession out of it, because it is kind of flimsy, considering you're needing another inmate to back it up. Just go on what the FBI found.
Yeah.
It's not like we're hinging Ron Logan on this on a confession. We're hinging it on the bodies were on his property. They were cleaned up, like likely probably in a building nearby where the crime scene took place. He has a history of abuse. He had a fake alibi already set up before they even knew the girls were dead. And his phone shows him there.
I know, that's the other thing, you know.
At the scene.
In so many cases, phones put people at the scene, and that's what convicts people. In this case, it's like,
dump
whatever.
the alibi by the other guy, or the confession. If it's not strong enough, don't go with it. Treat this more like the feds treat a federal case, where it's like, we're only going on stuff that we know we can prove, and what I just talked about are things you can prove. Prosecutors have pushed back against the new trial request. Of course they have. McLeland has urged the judge to deny the defense's motion outright, arguing the defense is not permitted to request a new trial to change strategy when their chosen path fails. Well, you also didn't allow them a path forward either. You denied the whole motion about the third-party defense, which is pretty strong considering the FBI said that's your guy. It's not just like, oh, a couple people in the community said that it's the weird guy down by the river. No, the FBI went in and raided his house, took his things, did a whole report, and that report never saw the light of day. For some reason, Delphi investigators didn't want you to see that. I don't know why. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Because I'm not just going to accept, well, there's nothing in it. Let's take a look at it. See if there is nothing in it, because there's a lot of stuff that's already out there that's there. Former prosecutor and current defense attorney Brad Banks echoed this sentiment, predicting that Allen's request will be swiftly denied. I won't be surprised if this was denied pretty readily, Banks said. I think there's somewhere close to a 0% chance any of this gets granted. Yeah. NBC Universal is now fighting for public access to the evidence. I actually got a call the other day from them, and I commented on, it was an Indiana station. I forgot the city. Anyway, we talked about the case, and they filed this motion requesting that all trial evidence and exhibits be made public. I said, that's a great idea. Good luck. Gall's not going to say yes.
Why won't they do it?
Why wouldn't they do anything here? They don't want anything out. Why would they start now? Why would they start releasing anything now after they've got him convicted? They don't want anybody to see anything more. They don't want us talking about this. The media company had previously submitted a public records request seeking access to the materials in the case, but the state denied that request. Of course they did. Now NBC Universal is asking the court to intervene. Among the evidence they seek is the video recorded on Libby German's cell phone.
Gosh, the story, a national story.
I'm in the story.
References you. Yes.
Well, look at that. I didn't know I'm in the story.
You're in the freaking story. Yeah, this is a national story, and I grabbed it, and I quickly sent it and had some other things I had to do. I didn't catch the bottom of it. I thought it was our tag that we usually put. Tony
Bruschi, host of the Hidden Killers True Crime podcast, agrees with NBC Universal's push for transparency. The public is only being fed a narrative that Judge Francis Gall and the authorities there want them to see, and most people just want this on the surface level, Bruschi said. Hi, how you doing?
Is that weird, reading a quote from yourself?
I don't think I've ever done that. I think that's a first. that I'm popping up in the actual story we're talking about.
Good for you, man.
With the defense seeking a new trial, the prosecution is standing firm on the conviction, and NBC Universal's demanding public access to intervene. I wish them luck. Hopefully they can, they got attorneys and shit. I wish them luck. I'm guessing it may be something to do with the Dateline folks doing their digging, and they do good at that. Delphi murders case remains a focal point of intense legal and public scrutiny. Yes, it does.
It's just such a sad situation. I don't feel like justice was served here in the right direction. And I'm so sad that these two girls died, and it doesn't feel like the killer has been caught.
No. Or just a fair trial. I'm just asking for that. A fair trial. Can we just do that?
What this country was about.
Can we just do that? Can we just look at the evidence that exists? Because I don't know how on any way, shape, or form you look at this and go, yeah, Richard Allen did it. Enlighten me with something that changes my mind. I've yet to find it. And I'm not like just sitting here going, I have blinders on. I'm only going to look this way. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to have something else to push back on the other side and have a conversation about. But it's, as far as I know, I've not seen anything yet. I've just seen a lot of stuff that points to other people other than Richard Allen.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be going that way.
Yeah, I just feel like and look, the Gull's going to deny, and that's her right to do. She's the judge. I think it's horrible, but that's how our system does work, right or wrong. So I don't know. I'm so frustrated with this case. We, of course, will continue to follow it. I appreciate all the comments that we've been getting on Facebook and rather YouTube on this, because I know a lot of other places have really kind of stopped covering this now that it's no longer, the focal point out there with so many other things. But I'm not going to end on this. This is just, we're going to keep going until we figure out what the hell is going on here. It's sickening. And I
this
don't
man
know.
deserves justice.
Yeah.
Just like the girls do.
At the end of the day, that's what it should all come down to, is somebody killed these girls. We should figure out who did it and not take away the father to two other little girls who apparently don't matter in this whole situation. And they're alive, and a husband. What about them? What if they got the wrong guy? Because it really looks like they got the wrong guy.
The latest true crime stories, expert breakdowns, and shocking twists, all in one place. Press subscribe now to the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.